Another edition of the wrap-up show with John and Jim were presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Before we get going with our Padres Christmas wish lists, let's tell you about subscribing. If you're a Padres fan, you got to subscribe to this channel. You see Jim pointing to the subscribe button down below. We have year-round exclusive Padres content. That's why we're here. So if you subscribe, you'll get that. Also, hit the notification bell. You'll be notified when we post new videos like these videos, and follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We want to tell you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, because this wouldn't be possible without Mark. So if you have insurance needs, and we know people have been doing this, please contact Mark and tell him the wrap-up show sent you. As Jim always says, if you're looking for auto, home, renters, or life insurance, and you're here in San Diego, got to turn to a San Diegan. Huge Padres fan. You can talk Padres with Mark Nimitz. He'd love to do that with you. If you have an electric vehicle, he's lowered his rates on select electric vehicle models. He's been doing this for a long time, over 10 years. He's got great customer service and communication. We have a link down below, which you can click on. It'll get you right to Mark Nimitz's website. He can help you and your family with your insurance needs this holiday season.
Yeah, you guys know the drill. Phone number and email address above my head. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. That's mnimitz at farmersagent.com. As John told you, when you reach out to him, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
All right, so in the chat, we're asking you this. What is on your Padres wish list for 2022? Let's get you our Padres Christmas wish list this holiday season. So we'll go back and forth just with some hopes for the upcoming season. And I think we both agree on this, Jim. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s health. Can he finally put together a season in the big leagues where he plays 150 games? Because he's done everything else, right? Had a great rookie year, but it was cut short. Second year was great. It wasn't his fault there was a pandemic. Third year, the shoulder still was MVP caliber, but only played 130 games. Can this be the year? Please, cross our fingers, please. Is this the year that Fernando Tatis Jr. can play 150 games? And if it is, you can make a case that the Padres could be one of the better teams in baseball if he's able to stay healthy.
And who knows what would have happened last year if his shoulder didn't sublux, and if he didn't miss probably the worst stretch of the season at the beginning of August. It's when they went in their slide. Right at the trade deadline, he got hurt the same day. I think he missed 2 weeks, and in that span, Padres got no hit, lost series to the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. So who knows what would have happened if Tatis was fully healthy this year and you didn't have to worry about a sublux shoulder and he didn't play the outfield and he was your shortstop every day. Dude could have probably hit 50-plus home runs. He may have been the MVP. I would argue that he would have been the MVP if he stayed healthy. So, yeah. Can we just please get a full season, 150-plus games of no injuries, or at least no major injuries with Tatis, please? Just once.
Are we asking for too much? I don't think we're asking for too much.
No.
All right, so that's on both of our lists, obviously.
Right.
Give me
our first thing.
Give me something on your list.
Another thing I think that is both on our list, it's Blake Snell. If Blake Snell can pitch like he did in August last year, where he was borderline untouchable, I think he brought a no-hitter into the 7th or 8th inning in a couple of his games.
Yep.
He led the league in ERA that month. He was the Blake Snell that we all thought the Padres were getting for a full season. Showed up a little late, and then he got hurt. If Blake Snell next year, I'm not saying he has to pitch like he did in August for a full season. That's hard to do. Like if you do that, you're the Cy Young. And yes, he's won a Cy Young. It's just hard to do. You're going to have some bumps in the road in the season as a pitcher. It's inevitable. No pitcher, a couple pitchers can do it, but not every pitcher can do it. And for Blake Snell, if he has a really good year next year, like ERAs in the high 2s, low 3s, the walk issue with him last year was a big problem. He needs to get his command under control. If he just keeps the walks down, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball because his stuff is just that good. So if Blake Snell can pitch like he did in August, this team will be, I think, really good next year. So I think both our wish list, number 1 and number 2, ironically, is the health of Tatis and Blake Snell kind of reemerging as one of the best pitchers in baseball.
I want a 3 ERA. To your point, I want 150 innings. I'm not asking for the world.
At
Last year, he
least.
threw 128 innings. He's never thrown more than 180 and 2/3. That's the only season he's thrown more than 129 and a third. So he's only once been over 130 innings in his career. That was the year he won the Cy Young. So asking for more than 150 is probably asking for a lot. I want 150 innings and a 3 ERA. He had a 1.89 when he won the Cy Young. He's capable of pitching in the National
You
League
can
to
do
a
it.
3 ERA in a good pitcher's yard like Petco Park. It's not going to be easy. To your point, the walk totals were crazy. I mean, his walks last year, 69 and 128 innings, is absurdly high, pushing 5.5, 6 walks per every 9 innings, or
He needs to
5
cut
or
that in
6
half
walks.
at least.
He's got to get it down to 3 walks per every 9 innings, which is what he did when he won the Cy Young. But you're right, Blake Snell, Fernando Tatis Jr. at the top of both of our lists. I'll give you my next one on my Christmas wish list for the Padres heading into 2022. I want to see Dinelson Lamet be reliable in the bullpen. I'm not asking for him to make 30 starts. I don't need to see Cy Young caliber Dinelson Lamet. I understand that's probably not happening at this point. And maybe we're asking for too much, even asking for him to be a dependable or reliable bullpen piece. I don't need him to be the 9th inning guy. He doesn't have to throw 4 times in 5 days, even 3 times in 4 days. But if he can be dependable, I'm not even talking about his health, which is for, that's for everyone. We need health from everyone, right? I mean, that goes without saying. If he can just be dependable and reliable, what a huge, huge upgrade that is for the Padres in their bullpen. If he can be a 7th inning or 8th inning guy, he's got the stuff. I mean, the fastball slider combination is ridiculous. If he can be reliable, give the Padres 50 appearances out of the bullpen, I think that goes a long way.
Wow. That's
Is
a
that a
lot.
big number?
That's a big
50?
number, I feel like. 50?
I don't think so in a 162 game season.
So what, he'd be pitching every third day?
Yeah. Well, let's see how many appearances with injury he made last year. He probably still made 20-something appearances. He made 22 appearances. He was hurt the whole year.
But how effective was he in those 23 or 22
Not
appearances?
very.
No. I mean, there's a couple times where, like, that's Dinelson Lamet. But I want to say all of his starts were not good. His stuff at times was very flat, wasn't sharp. I think looking back now, hindsight is 2020. Not getting the surgery probably hurt his career at this point. Like, who knows what is going to happen next year? Could be wrong. He could be right. He could become an effective arm for the Padres next season. But I think not getting the surgery really hindered Dinelson Lamet from taking that next step. And yes, he would have missed the full season, but at least you would have fixed whatever problem he was having.
Yeah, I think it was a big mistake. I'm with you. I'm on the record for saying that. I thought he was unbelievable in 2020. You had a lost season in 2021. Shoot, if he doesn't get this fixed in 2022, I mean, it's really a lost career in a Padres uniform. It's 2022 or bust for Dinelson Lamet in a Padres uniform. What else is on your list?
All right, on my list, my next thing is Mike Clevenger not only stays healthy, but makes 20-plus starts.
Okay.
I think the thing with this rotation is you have Darvish, you have Snell, and you have Musgrove. You need more than that. We saw that last year. If 2 of these guys aren't performing, it's hard to put everything on the shoulder of one guy. Especially last year was Joe Musgrove, and he pitched phenomenal. He was their best pitcher by far, but it's a lot to put on one person's shoulders. You need to have not 4 guys, but you need to have a constant rotation that's consistent. Like if you have 4 guys in your rotation next year making 20-plus starts, that's pretty good. 25-plus starts. With maybe 1 or 2 guys emerging as your aces, your number 1s and number 2s. So for me, it's still the big unknown. I still have to wait and see. I just reading everything that Clevenger said after he got his first Tommy John, how hard it was for him to return, to get to a point where his mechanics felt good. Like, this guy's motion is funky. It is not compact. It is a lot of moving parts.
It's all over the place.
Maybe, the hiring of Ruben Niebla was the perfect hiring for a guy like Mike Clevenger to hone him in. And he was obviously there in Cleveland with him. So that I'm putting in as a factor to Clevenger next season. But I just have to wait and see. And until then, it's up in the air for me. But if this team can get, what do you say, 20 plus starts with him staying healthy, if he has to miss a couple starts because of they're kind of holding him back and resting him, like, I'm cool with that. But if you can get him through a full season, making 20 plus starts into a potential postseason, that's massive.
And I'll go on the record. I've said it before. I'll take the over. I think he makes more than 20 starts. I think he'll be healthy. I don't know about his level of effectiveness. I don't know how many innings. He'll be on pitch counts. Don't get me wrong. He'll be on inning counts. They might give him the extra day. He might pitch every 6th day the first half of the year, and that's fine. But I do think he'll make more than 20 starts.
As long as he's effective.
As long as he's effective, I'm with you, and can stay healthy, and just take that rotation and give it an additional level of depth just by throwing and making 25 starts potentially for the Padres. Before we continue our Christmas wish list involving the Padres, if you're looking for a podcasting or video casting or live stream or YouTube channel solution, we have it for you. And we have a link down below for our viewers of the wrap-up show. It's StreamYard. That's what we use. And you can get 2 weeks free this holiday season. No credit card required. We've been using it for 3 months. It is super simple and easy. It's not just for YouTube. It's not just for podcasting. It's for live streaming. It's for gaming. It's for anything you want to do to converse with someone else over the internet digitally. Jim, you could talk more about this. But again, for our viewers, there is a link down below. We encourage you to click on it and just try it out. 2 weeks free, no credit card required. Try out StreamYard this holiday season.
We're in the age of podcasts. Everybody wants to do a podcast. Everybody wants to do something because everyone has something on their mind. And a lot of people don't know how to start. It's about just starting. And StreamYard is the easiest way to just start a podcast. Go in, download StreamYard. The link's in the description below. 2 weeks free. It's so fun to do because you can customize your experience how you want. And you can stream on multiple platforms at once: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch. So there's multiple ways.
We got to get on Twitch.
We do probably have to get on Twitch. I don't really know how to do Twitch, but it's a huge platform and you can use StreamYard for it. So if you're thinking about doing a podcast, especially a live type of podcast, and even if you don't want to do a live type of podcast, if you just want to record with your buddy who lives across the state, you can't, get together to record something together, you can do this and you can convert it to an MP3 and upload it to whatever podcast site you want. Super simple, super easy, and it's fun.
Support our partners. If you're a fan of the wrap-up show, links for Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance and StreamYard are down below. Please support our sponsors this holiday season. Back to the wish list for the Padres in 2022 this holiday season. Here's one for you, Jim. I am wishing for the Padres to win a season series against the Dodgers next year.
What?
So they've put themselves in position. I mean, they've played good baseball against the Dodgers the last 2 years. I say that. I think they were 4-6 in the regular season in the pandemic year, where I thought it was a 50-50 series. They lost one of those games when Manny Machado was thrown out at home plate, and they went 4-6. And then last year, they were brilliant in the first half of the season, including a sweep of the Dodgers. Was that at Petco or at Dodger Stadium? I forget. It was at Petco, right?
No, it was at Petco.
There was that home sweep. But then the second half, they were terrible against the Dodgers. So it was just finally
they won one game. Maybe.
Yeah, they were terrible in the second half against the Dodgers. They rolled over. Is this the year that they finally win a season series against LA? I think the last time they did it was either 2009 or 2010. So you're pushing like a dozen years since the Padres won a season series against the team up north.
And yes, the Giants won 107 games. They are the defending National League West champions, but this division still, and I believe always will, go through the Dodgers some way, somehow. It's not like the Dodgers won 85 games last year. They won 106 freaking games.
Yeah.
It was the closest, most exciting race probably in the last 20 plus years in the National
One of the
West.
best races in the history of baseball.
And so the margin is very slim for the Dodgers at the top of this division. Like, they're still one of the best teams in baseball, and you have to go through them just like you have to go through the Giants. So yeah, I winning a season series, I've said since 2020 when I truly felt this team could start really competing, is like why it bugged me in 2020. And I still get upset about this when they were, I don't know if you remember, it was Dodgers at Petco Park. I think it was a 3-game series and there were 2 games back of the National League West with
they won game 1 when Grisham
13
homered.
to play. And they won game 1, they lost game 2, and they kind of just rested everybody game 3 and just gave up.
You
And I was
hated
like,
that.
I hated it. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. That's not how this works. You still have a chance to win the division. And on top of that, you have a chance to beat the Dodgers in a season series, which you haven't done in forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes a long way in clubhouses, knowing, dude, we can beat these guys in a series. Like, we're not as scared of them. But if you go into a postseason series and you happen to face the Dodgers like they did in 2020, Dodgers knew these guys can't beat us in a series. These guys, we own these guys, and that has to turn around.
What's next on your list?
My list. What's next? Some people might not like it. Personally, I think it's time, and a lot of people actually do think it's time. Trade Eric Hosmer.
How is this not first on your list?
Well, I had to put some good, like, Tatis and Clevenger and Snell.
Oh, you didn't want to start by like
I didn't want
hitting.
to start on like a note that was like, get someone out of town, but it's
Mm-hmm.
time. It's done. It's over. This relationship, while Preller might say quickly that he views Eric Hosmer as a guy that's going to be on this team when they win, I don't buy it whatsoever. What happened last year at the trade deadline just told me all I need to know. Plus, you're dealing with a situation now where you are you have one of the highest paid payrolls in all of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the Padres don't make any more moves once this lockout's over, which is insane. So getting rid of Eric Hosmer not only is getting rid of a player who is not giving you any value to the team, like none whatsoever on the field. In the clubhouse, yeah, he gives you value with
Sure.
young players and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But offensively, defensively, his stats on paper, he's giving you zero. And and people might not like that, but it's the truth. I'm sorry, it's the truth. He has a 0 WAR in his career as a Padre, pretty much. So
Yeah, I'm with you, but I agree with you. I think by and large, by the way, most Padres fans agree with you. I don't think there's a lot of hardened.
there's some out there that
There are
think
some.
Eric
There
Hosmer is
are, and
like
that's fine. And that's, you know what, this is a subjective game, even though it's
true.
so analytical and numerical.
Everyone
But
has right to their own opinion.
and listen, I'm with you. If you can put yourself in a position where you're replacing Eric Hosmer with Matt Olson, I mean, come on. I mean, what are we even talking about? But it doesn't have to be Matt Olson. I mean, there's so many options that are better than replacement level players. Yeah, Cronenworth is a good point. I mean, if CJ Abrams is in your lineup and you're sliding Cronenworth over, are you a better baseball team? I don't know. I don't know if Abrams is going to be ready day one, but you make a good point. I mean, it's a point that fans have been making for the better part of the last 2 years. At some point, they're going to have to figure out this thing with Eric Hosmer, because we can't just pretend like he's going to hit 35 home runs. He's not. He could hit, a good year is going to be he's hitting 290, but it's all soft.
700 plus OPS, like, dude, that
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
happen.
Exactly.
You need to have an OPS over 800 minimum.
And you're tracking down the Giants and the Dodgers. Like, it's not good enough. I don't know if they'll be able to get rid of them. I mean, that might be wishful thinking this holiday season with it being a lockout, but it is a wish list. I'll give you another one. Let's go one more each, unless you want to go two more each. What do you want to do?
Let's go one more each.
All right, one more each. Here's one for you. I want to see Trey Grisham on the All-Star team in 2022.
Yeah.
This is a former first round pick, 15th overall pick, that has had moments. 2020, I thought when he came back from injury at the beginning of 2021, he had some big moments, but he was severely disappointing. He really was a year ago. I thought he completely underperformed. He's fully capable. We've seen what he can do with his glove. We've seen how his bat plays in the big leagues over stretches. He's so streaky. He'll have a good 2 weeks and have a bad 20 days. He's got to put together 3 months. I'd love to see 6 months, but I want to see a first half where he plays as a regular, makes star-worthy defensive plays, hits 300, hits for power, steals some bases. He's capable of doing all this stuff. We've seen that Trent Grisham before. He's right in the prime of his career. There's no reason why Trent Grisham can't be a top 10 caliber outfielder in the National League in 2022. We just need to see it.
And that is something that I think the Padres would love in that organization, is seeing Trent Grisham actually blossom. Like, you've seen flashes. You see what this guy can do. He has the potential to be an all-star. Absolutely. He has the talent. You know, he won the Gold Glove in 2020. Sometimes on defense, he's a little lackadaisical, but overall, he's a good defender and out in the outfield. He can hit for power. He's very streaky, like you said. His plate discipline needs to improve.
Yep.
Last year, he got to a point where it seemed like he turned into Eric Hosmer light, just grounding everything into the ground to second base. That needs to change. He can steal bags. He's fast. It just, the plate discipline for me, if that gets better, he can blossom fully into a potential all-star. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's absolutely a potential all-star. I want to see it in 2022. I would not be shocked at all if he's an eventual all-star. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a 2 or 3-time all-star. I think he has that ability and capability. I just want to see it now. I feel like this team needs to blossom. Like, we've been in springtime so long in this analogy. It's time to blossom.
Right.
The payroll, like everything else has blossomed, but we haven't seen the results necessarily on field do that as of yet.
And just real quick before I give you my final wish list, like, obviously the number one thing on everyone's wish list is everyone stays healthy and win a World Series. That's without being said.
Yeah.
I just had to put it out there if people were like, "Whoa,
why didn't you say World Series?" I mean, obvious. I mean,
come on.
I mean, I'd like to say, I hope the Padres go 162-0 and then sweep every round in the postseason and win by 100 runs. But I mean, you got to have some level of realism, which I think all these are at least somewhat. I think they're all realistic.
Oh, absolutely. And I just had to put that out there. But I was going to say Mackenzie Gore because I know he's on your list. But I'm going to say Yu Darvish needs to be an ace. If Yu Darvish is an ace for a full year, like, he had that sticky stuff issue. I don't know if that played a factor into his season, but it just seemed like right around the time the sticky stuff got banned. And I'm not accusing him. I'm just saying it's just the coincidence. He went downhill, and maybe that's also because of injury. He was dealing with the back thing, so maybe the injury played more of a factor than potential sticky stuff if he ever was using it. But you just saw what this team was when they had Yu Darvish as their ace. They were really good. And then when he fell off the map and he became average at best, this team did not look good. Like, every time Darvish pitched, it was like, oh, this is bad, because you expected Yu Darvish to be the guy you had for the first 2.5 months of the year who made an all-star team. If you get a Yu Darvish like that for a full year, and he definitely has it in him, then everything just falls into place. You don't have to rely so much on Joe Musgrove. You can let Blake Snell breathe a little bit, not putting so much pressure on him. And then obviously with Mike Clevenger, you don't have to be like, we need you. Like, Clevenger doesn't have that pressure coming off a second Tommy John. You have that bona fide ace on your staff in Yu Darvish. Everything usually falls into place.
Yeah, I just hope he's capable of it. I mean, he's 35 years of age. Can he put together that 30-start season? Because you're right, his second half was nothing like his first half. I'm trying to pull up some of the numbers. I mean, he had a 6.16. He had 6.16. I mean,
that's not even average. That's
among the worst pitchers in baseball in the second half. He had a 3.09 in his first 18 starts post All-Star game. 1-8 was his record in 12 starts with a 6.16 ERA.
Yeah.
What did we miss? What's on your Padres Christmas wish list? Please reply down below. We want to hear your thoughts. Please comment down below your thoughts on the Padres Christmas wish list. What's on your list for 2022? Again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. We've got year-round exclusive Padres content for you. You can subscribe by hitting that button down below. Hit the notification bell. You'll be notified when we have new videos. Please like this video and follow us on Twitter as well. At John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Until next time, this has been the Wrap-Up Show presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.